We're about to preview this week's Saints at Seahawks game on Monday Night Football. Before we dive in, though, like the video if you want the Saints to win. I'm not saying if you don't like it, that means the Saints are going to lose. I'm not that superstitious, but I am a little stitious. I think it's good energy to send out in the universe if you want your team to win, to like this video. So think about it this way, guys. If you don't like it and the Saints lose, you'll end up feeling pretty bad and guilty. So take advantage of this little intro clip coming up and like the video right now. You're watching New Orleans Saints Now. I am Tom Downey here with a full preview on this week's game, including some injury report notes for New Orleans. Now, in Week 7, on the road, the Saints are still the betting favorite by a 4.5-point spread, which, as they often do, could change as the week goes on, since it is still Monday Night Football. And I think there's a good indication as to why, beyond the injury to Russell Wilson. Look at the scoring offense, scoring defense numbers you see on screen. The Saints have a top 10 scoring offense, over 25 points per game. They have a top 4 scoring defense, just over 18 points allowed. Seattle, meanwhile, 18th in scoring offense and 21st in scoring defense. The Saints, I believe, are the better football team right now. Pair that with the fact that Seattle is starting Geno Smith at quarterback instead of Russell Wilson. Well, now it makes sense, even on the road in prime time in a hostile environment, that the Saints are a 4.5-point favorite in what is supposed to be a rather low-scoring game. I also don't know exactly what team we're going to get out of New Orleans. They're 5 games so far this year. They've been a weird football team. I don't know how else to describe it. Beat the Packers, awesome, cool. Blew them out even, 38-3. It's like, oh, Saints are legit. Then you get blown out by Carolina. You're like, okay, well, maybe they're not so legit. Then you beat the Patriots on the road. Cool, okay, back to being a playoff contender. You lose to the Giants in overtime? A bad Giants football team? That made no sense. Cool, you beat Washington. They're not a good football team either. This is another game in which the Saints should win. Because without Russell Wilson, and even with him, this Seahawks team ain't that great. They, for starters, never play normal football games. Let's remember that here. They lost to Tennessee in overtime in Week 2. Kind of got spanked a bit by Minnesota on the road Week 3. Then bounced back against San Francisco in Week 4. Geno Smith nearly rallied them against the Rams in Week 5, which they weren't really going to win anyway. And then they lose on the road against Pittsburgh Sunday Night Football in overtime in a game that Pittsburgh probably should have won by more. So it makes sense then that the Saints are a 4.5-point favorite against the Seahawks, because I don't think Seattle in the end is that good of a football team. So I want to hear from you guys, and I assume almost all of you are going to be picking the Saints, but include which team you've got winning as well. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down, get your votes in. Predict the score of Saints against the Seahawks. Let's talk injury report now. Now, as a reminder, this is a Monday Night Football game. So I know it's Friday, but for the practice schedule, this is actually Thursday. So that's why there's no full designations yet. And we're looking at the Wednesday notes, or I should say Thursday notes, because the Friday report's not out yet as we film this. 5 did not participate. These are the ones to monitor. First up is Dwayne Washington with a neck. I don't know if he's going to be good to go. Deonte Harris with a hamstring. That is certainly one to monitor as well. Taysom Hill has a concussion. I do not know if he's going to be cleared in time. Malcolm Roach has an illness. Don't panic on that front. I think he'll be okay. And Chris Hogan missed practice due to a personal issue. I think he'll be just fine. The good news are these next 3 players, and we'll spend some time on this grouping plus Taysom Hill. Terron Armstead, limited with that elbow issue that has cost him some time. Eric McCoy, limited with a calf issue that has cost him all but like 5 snaps this year. And Marshon Lattimore was a full participant with a hand. He's on the injury report. He's going to play through it. If the Saints can get healthy on the offensive line, that is a very large deal for them. Armstead, Pete, McCoy, Ruiz, and Ramczyk is a big boost over the Hurst, Pete, Ruiz, Throckmorton, Ramchak unit they'd been throwing out there due to injuries. If they get healthy, that I think will lead to more success for one player in particular named Alvin Kamara, who we'll get to near the end of today's video. But it also could be a boost for Taysom Hill if he's able to play. The jack of all trades for New Orleans is dealing with that concussion right now. It is early in the week, but being a did not participate on Thursday's practice, which is a Wednesday in most weeks, is in general not a good sign for the athlete for New Orleans. We will see if he's able to go or not. It's still early. Right now, I lean towards probably not. Now, I'm a gambling man. I don't know if you guys are or are not, but you can get started with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. When you put down $100, they're going to give you an extra $125 for free. That's a pretty damn good deal, folks. You're literally playing with house money. So head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code you see on screen right there, chat125. Now, what I like to do is parlay my picks together for an individual week. We do a weekly pick'em here at the Chat Sports offices, and I am in first place right now. I've hit 2 of these parlays, by the way. Here are my top 5 picks. Dolphins, plus 2.5 over Atlanta. The Saints, your Saints, minus 4.5 against the Seahawks. Niners, minus 4 against the Colts. Packers, 7.5 against Washington. And the Patriots, 7.5 against the Jets. Fade me, pick a couple, bet maybe just on the Saints. Either way, do it all with BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code you see right there, bottom of your screen. It's chat125. Let's talk quarterbacks now in this matchup. We begin with Jameis Winston, the good quarterback in this game. A beautiful 12-3 touchdown to interception ratio. Has been a bit inconsistent, though, so far this year. The yards are still down. He's not 30 for 30, Jameis Winston, which is okay, but he's still got some room to grow. On the other side of the field, Geno Smith ain't it, which, I mean, should not surprise anybody, given where we are at this point in his NFL career. He's not terrible, but he's a backup quarterback. He's not somebody who's going to will you to victory like Russell Wilson would. Like, I think if the Seahawks had Wilson against Seattle, they would have, or against the Steelers, they would have won that game last week. With Geno going up against the Saints, there's a reason why I like New Orleans in this one. Saints fans, we are a meritocracy here at Chat Sports. What that big word means is based on production. If you want more Saints videos, then subscribe. You're doing okay, over 1,650, but let's get to 2,000. That's the next benchmark here at New Orleans Saints now. So if you haven't already, and if you want free videos, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. I want to focus in on one of the better matchups, I think, this week for New Orleans. That's their pass rush and run defense against the Seahawks. Seattle wants to run the football under Pete Carroll. I'm looking at Malcolm Roach, Shy Tuttle, Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport if he returns. We'll see. I think the Saints front four has the matchup advantage over the Seahawks offensive line. Dwayne Brown has not been prime Dwayne Brown. Brandon Shell's a bit banged up, and he's not a great offensive. Anyway, plus Cedric Way, he is kind of banged up as well. And Damian Lewis, by the way, might not play. And Jamarco Jones got worked last week against the Steelers. You saw TJ Watt do incredible things. I think Cam Jordan, the Saints defensive line, which is still not yet at 100%, can have a big-time game. So I am excited to see what the Saints front four can do against Seattle. I am also excited to see what one Alvin Kamara can do this week. Now, his production, especially fantasy-wise, buoyed by touchdowns. Under 4 yards per carry for Alvin so far this year. I think he has a better game this week, especially as the O-line gets healthier. I'd also like to see him be more involved in the passing game. He's averaging only 3 catches per game. Now, he's got 3 touchdowns already this year, so that's an incredibly high efficiency, a nice 7.5 yards per catch. Part of that is the Saints have not thrown it as much overall this year, but I would like to see Kamara get a little bit more involved and be more active on that side of the ball and be the top 5, top 3, top whatever back we know he is for New Orleans. So with that in mind, how many total yards for Kamara this week. I like what producer Matthew Peterson did there with the title. A lot is the answer, but how many exactly? Get your votes, your predictions in for me. I will go with 123. Bit of a high number, but I got high expectations this week for Kamara. Let me know what you think in the comments. Speaking of predictions, how about my score prediction this week? I told you guys we'd get there. I've got the Saints winning this one, which you knew based on my pick this week against the spread, but I got the Saints winning by a full touchdown. Final score in this one, Saints 24, Seahawks 17.